Hello, everyone. To begin, I want to thank you all for taking the time to listen to my capstone presentation. I want to share with you how, along with my other life experiences, getting my MPA has helped shape who I am and what it is I hope to do in the future. When I decided to go to law school in late 2009, I was like many young, recent college graduates entering the workforce during the Great Recession, and the prospects of going back to school seemed better than those of the available jobs at the time. I had never really considered being an attorney, but I knew I had wanted to help others, and that was what ultimately guided me to law school. That I also knew I had little interest in becoming either a doctor or a priest, much to the quiet disappointment of my father and mother, respectively. Now, when deciding on which law school to attend, I was given good advice to go to school in an area in which you would want to live and practice, as you very likely will end up doing so nearby. The draw of the city of Charleston obviously helped attract me to the Charleston School of Law in 2011, but it was the school's motto of pro bono populi, or for the good of the people, which aligned with my desire of wanting to help others, and that ultimately was the prime draw for me. My experience at the law school was a great first step in getting a position in which I could help others. With that said, I will never forget my first class of torts, when my professor opened the course by saying, "If you came to law school to save the world, you should have joined the seminary." While I thought it was a rather cynical take as a student, later, as a practitioner, I understood it. The practice of law certainly allows you to help others, but attorneys can only impact the lives of their clients within the structures that are in place. The problem is the structures needed are for equity and justice often either take too long or too expensive or aren't always in place. Too often today's practice of law resembles a song and dance more so than a noble profession. Dealing with insurance adjusters every day is enough to make someone see how little of a difference they're making in the grand scheme of things, despite likely changing the lives of their clients. When I decided to go back to school to start a new career, my desire to help others was still great. Getting an MPA intrigued me as I had become interested in how local policies can greatly affect people's lives, like mine was when I developed an office building in 2015. Having a former roommate who was a program alumnus, now working in Atlanta, I was familiar with the MPA program here at the college. After looking a little deeper into the program, I felt like it would be a good fit for me, just like the law school had been. Plus, I wouldn't have to move. It seemed to me a good idea to learn how and why policies are made and administered so that I could get more involved in helping others. While I understood the importance of the results, the MPA program here opened my eyes to the mechanisms of successful policymaking and public administration. I gained a better understanding for what makes a community much more than just a group of people, and the unique roles that professional public administrators are able to play today in identifying and steering those unique communities, both for good or bad. This perhaps is truer for no community more so than my hometown of Anniston, Alabama. I became familiar with my hometown in a way that I never had before, and as such, I gained new pride despite its many ugly issues. That is one of my greatest takeaways from the program. Being in the program also offered me the chance to serve as the Graduate Student Association president at the college. This experience has been challenging at times, but always very insightful. And it has allowed me to develop impactful relationships, which will last long beyond this year. I know I'm not alone in the experience of getting an MPA and having nearly everyone I know ask either, "What is an MPA?" or "What can you do with the degree?" Likely both. And I've given various answers in the past. The answers I had given to these questions talked about the multitude of jobs with MPAs that can be found in the nonprofit and government fields, and that I thought I would get involved in local planning in some capacity. Beyond that, I really had no clue what it was I'd hoped to do with my MPA. Honestly, I'm still not entirely sure, but that is due now to seeing the many different ways I can make a real difference in people's daily lives, and that's a good change. After I received my JD, I often told people that when you finish law school, if you have done it right, what you have learned is not only what a contract is or what a tort is, but you've really learned how the world works. I believe this is why you find many JDs working as non-attorneys. Having now reached the end of the MPA program, My answers to the familiar MPA questions have shifted to a similar framing as my understanding of law school. While I learned theoretical and practical knowledge of public administration, when done right, an MPA program teaches you much more. But instead of teaching you how the world works, having an MPA teaches you how to make the world work. In the end, it looks like my torts professor was wrong. If you want to save the world, you do not have to join the seminary. Just get your MPA instead.